So I would recommend do not start at your end. Please keep it only one recording session so that we don't have the confusion. Please do not record at your end. I'm going to record. Right. So I have shared my screen. So guys, anyone can share, confirm that. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
fine, sir. So, yeah, web service testing. So, let me check few of the. Okay. So, let's talk about web service testing. I don't want to talk web service testing. First, let's talk about the front end and back end testing. So generally, if you talk about how many types of the testing, generally, yeah, a lot of testing, right? But generally, if it in general wise, if you talk, so there are front end testing and the back end testing. Front end and the back end. The front end means which have the graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. Let's suppose I am taking the make my trip, right? So this is the UI. The UI means user interface, right? This is the UI of the make my trip. So this is your front end project, which you are guys, you can mute, please. Archit, you can mute, guys. Sir, if you have any query, then you can raise your hand, or at the end of the class you can ask me. Please mute yourself. Okay, so there is two types of testing, front end and the back end, right? In the front end testing, we are doing the UI, user interface, right? User interface. So can you see the make my trip, right? Application. Here you are testing the functionality, functional testing, right? Functional testing. Okay, in the functional testing, guys, if I talk about the functional testing, then what did you mean by the functional testing? So in the functional testing, you can see it here. There are multiple types of the functional testing: unit testing, smoke testing, regression testing, integration testing, backend testing, right? So functional testing means, what did you understand? You are testing the functionality, you are testing the behavior, right? So guys, tell me, in the unit testing, you are testing the functionality or not? Yes. In the smoke testing, you are testing the functionality or not? Yes. In the regression testing, you are testing the functionality or not? Yes. In the integration testing, you are testing the functionality, right? So these all are the functional testing, right? So you can see this is your front end, right? This is the front end where we are doing the different types of the testing based on the requirement, right? So this is your front end testing. Like if I can take ICCI bank, so this is the Indian bank, Indian private bank. If anyone is working on the ICCI bank, so your client is giving the application and asking to you, go and test this application. That means this is the front end application. They will provide you one user interface which user can see and user can test the functionality. Okay. In the backend testing, in the backend testing, you can see in the backend testing, the user can't see. The client, the user, end user can't see the backend. So guys, tell me, when you are using the ICCI bank, can you see the internally calculation of ICCI bank? How internally calculating the loan, mortgage, assert, pension, how it's calculating? Can you see that calculation? No. You are simply, let's suppose I am loan calculator, loan ICCI calculator. So I am opting one application. This is the loan calculator. right? So here, if I am entering any value, right? If I am here entering any value, 50 lakhs, 10.5 interest and tenure is 20, right? So it will auto calculate the loan, total interest and total payment. So can you see, guys, you can mute. So guys, can you see the internally calculation? No, you can't see the internally calculation. How this particular application calculating the home loan, how they are showing the loan EMI and total loan interest payable. So that comes under the database testing. We have the separate team. So in the database testing, we have SQL testing, API testing, and we have different types of the testing, right? Which comes under the backend testing. Backend testing, you can see it. This is your backend testing, which doing in the backend. You can't see that thing, right? User can't see that thing. Let's suppose you are going to the ATM, right? You are swiping your card. Let's suppose you are swiping your State Bank of India ATM card, and you enter the amount. Only you can see you are entering the amount and giving the password, and you can withdraw the money. Can you see how the ATM calculating the stuff, how the internally machine withdrawing your money, right? How the updated data get updated into your account? You don't know. That is happening internally. That is the backend testing. In the backend testing, we will have SQL and the APIs and other testing also. Okay, here is some differentiation, right? Where we can differentiate the thing, which I have already explained you. Front-end testing is always performed on the GUI, graphical user interface. Graphical user interface means which user can see the table, graph, data. That is the graphical user interface, right? And in the backend testing, it applied the business logic. It applied the database. So let's suppose if I am entering the loan amount, interest and tenure, right? Can you see the business logic here to calculate? No, it is in the backend. It is written in the backend, right? So that's why in the backend testing, we are, it involved the business logic testing, business logic, right? And and so can you tell me it does not need any information to be stored in the database? Let's suppose this line is asking to you, it does not need any information to be stored in a database. So it is not required. If you are doing any testing in the front end side, it always store the data in the database, right? Let's suppose if you are checking the on way radio button is working or not, or this reverse direction is working or not, can this thing storing the data into your database? No. If you check the icons, logo, so you are doing the testing, but this testing is storing any data into your database? No. If I book the things, if I book the ticket, then it will store the data into your database, right? So what I'm trying to say, if you are doing the front end testing, the GUI testing, it does not require to store the data in the database, right? Yes, it will store the data based on the scenario. But in the case of database testing, in the case of backend testing, you have to store the data in the database. After that, you can do the backend testing. After then you can do the backend testing, right? Now, what are the type. So I already explained you what are the types will cover in the data, sorry, in the front end testing. Unit testing, acceptance testing, regression testing, system testing, and in the backend testing we have SQL and the APIs and other testing also. So this is all about, you know, overview of the testing, not web service. I have explained you overview about the testing only. Okay, now I am moving to the main part, which, okay, now you can see it here. What is web service, why it is so popular, and what are the types, and what is the differentiation between services, what are the method. Okay, let's don't, I will not talk about the theoretical parts. Leave it, I don't want, because I know we all are you know, working on the IT sector, and we all are not kids, so we are, all are not interested in the theoretical part. Okay, let's understand in some another way what is mean by the web service testing. Okay, give me a second. Okay, fine. I have opened one application where I can draw. Okay, I'm drawing one picture. Guys, try to understand. If you have any question, then let me know. My name is Vikas Marsa, and I'm so hungry. After coming from the office, I'm so hungry. I want to take the food. Okay. And I went to one hotel. I went to the one hotel. This is the hotel. This is one restaurant or hotel, you can say. Okay. And inside the hotel, I take the seat. I take the table, right? This is the hotel, and come inside the hotel, and in that hotel there is self-service. If you want to take the food, you have the self-service is there, right? So I have to take the food. So what I will do? This is the hotel kitchen. This is the hotel kitchen. Hotel kitchen. Hotel kitchen, right? And inside the hotel kitchen we have the chef, hotel chef. Okay, now I'm hungry, so what I will do here, I will come to the hot kitchen, means kitchen counter, and or where they are taking the order, that counter I have to come. And what I'm asking that, hey, I want burger, pizza, one burger, two burger, and one pizza with extra mayonnaise, right? And extra cheese I want. Okay, so I give my order. So chef, chef taking your order, and he is preparing the food. When he prepare the food, then he will call you. Then what you are doing, you again going to the chef counter, and you take the food, and again you come back to your table. Come back to your table. Come back to your table, right? You come, I think chef spelling is wrong. Okay, you come back to your table, right? And you taken your food. So guys, it's very hectic to come to the counter and give the order, then wait, then again go to the counter, make the queue, and then get the food, right? So it's something like, I'm hungry, and again you have to make the queue and stand for 15 minutes, then your number will come, then you will take the food, then again go to the counter when your food is prepared, then again take the food and come to your seat, right? To make this thing very easy, I will introduce one person. Guys, you can mute. uh, Guys, you can mute, sir, please. in one class you will face this type of issue. Guys, give me a second. Let me call to the person who has not joined. Give me a second, only 1 minute. Let me call to the person who has not joined actually, because this is only one demo class. So after and from tomorrow I will start the regular. Oh, Kirti, there are multiple Kirti. Added. So give me a second. Give me a second, sir. Sorry. Till now, guys, I have trained like a lot of peoples, right? Almost more than 300 peoples I have trained. And yeah, let me continue. Guys, you can mute, please. Guys, I would request please mute yourself. If you have any query, then raise your hand. So what I will do here, I will introduce one person, and let's introduce one person, and person is here. This is your waiter. This is the waiter who will help you to you know, take the order and get the order from the safe and serve to you, right? So waiter, what he will do, when you enter in the hotel, the waiter will come here and ask you, how can I help you, sir? Right? And you are asking that you need 2 pizza and 1 burger with extra cheese, right? So waiter take the order and come to the chef counter and given the order to him. When the order get prepared, then he will again take the food and come to here in the customer table, right? Now tell me what waiter is doing here. What waiter is doing here? Can I say that waiter is the medium? He is making the communication between the customer and the safe. He is establishing the connection between waiter and safe, right? Waiter and safe. So this is the web service. This is known as a web service. This is known as a web service. So what the web service is doing? Web service, let's talk as a technical word. Let's web service making the communication between hotel and safe, hotel and kitchen. Let's more technical. This is application 1. This is application 1, right? And this is application 2. Application, guys, you can mute, please. This is application 2. Now let's again define the things. Web service is making the communication between application 1 and application 2. So this is the mediator. Web service is the mediator. So guys, I want to discuss one more thing. So let's suppose I am poor man. I am poor man. I am coming from the backward classes. I am very poor man. I am coming from backward class, right? So can web service, this waiter will help to take the food or not? He will, the waiter is provide same service for this poor man or not? Let's suppose I am rich man, right? So for that rich man, the web service provide the same service or not? Let's suppose there is one kid inside the hotel and he want food, right? For that kid, this web service, this waiter will provide same service or not? Let's suppose there is one young lady, right? So this vector will provide same service or not. Let's suppose there is old lady, right? So tell me this vector will provide same service or not. Guys, there is one question mark. So this vector will provide same service or not. Which different types of people provide the same service? Agree? Because it is the job of waiter, right?
Yes.
Right. So yeah, please remember this thing, because I will discuss this thing again when I will talk more technically. So in simple way I have explained you, right? So what I'm trying to say, either it is poor, rich, or moderate family, or boy, girl, kid, old age, right? He is able to communicate with the kitchen via web service, via waiter, right? Now let's take one example, one real time example. Let's suppose this is your make my trip, right? So we all know the use of make my trip. This is the traveling site where we are booking our tickets, right? So I want the flight from Delhi to Mumbai in the date of 22 and returning is 27. What I will do, I will click on the search button. I will click on the search button. When I clicked on the search button, the make my trip connecting with the service. So guys, tell me, can you see in the page there are different types of the airlines company result? Indigo, Go First, SpiceJet, Air India, Vistara, and SpiceJet, Go First. Go First, I can see Go First is the new airline. I didn't heard about the Go First. Anyway, yeah. So these all are the result with different time, with different fare, right? Now, anyone having idea that how make my trip connecting with the different airline companies, how they are establishing the connection between this airline company? Now, let's discuss. There are couple of probability which is very important, like what this airline company will do. Air India, Go First, SpiceJet. Guys, if you understand the basic concept in my class, I know the most of the guys coming from the manual field, and some of the guys coming from the telecom branch, the non-technical field, right? So this class is for the, from basic, from scratch level, from mid level to advanced level, right? If you are expecting that I want only advanced level, not the scratch level or mid level knowledge I have, so I'm sorry for that, because I have to go with all, right? So I would request, then you can't continue the class. If you want only advanced level, yes, I will teach you the advanced level also, but not now. After some of the classes, when we finish the basic concept, the scratch level, then we will move to the mid level, then middle level, then advanced level concept. Okay, because I will spend lot of time behind you. It will almost take 1.5 months to complete this thing. Okay, I will explain you with different types of application, with different example, right? After taking this course, I can ensure you can represent yourself as a 3 to 4 years of experience, guys. If you do the practice with me, if you come with the query, if you do practice, then if you only taking the course, then you can't. You have to do the practice, sir. Okay. Okay, so how this make my trip is connecting with this airline company. Let's try to understand. There is a couple of probability that this Indigo Vastara airline Indica provide the access of his database to make my trip, right? And asking to the make my trip, whatever your query, you can come inside my database and you can fetch the data. You can fetch the data, right? So can you tell me, is this real scenario? Let's suppose, okay, you are not able to understand, let's leave it. I have one ICCI bank account, right? ICCI bank account, right? Can I allow you to look into my account? Because you are third party, I don't know you. Can I allow you to look into my account? No. No company wants the third party to look into his database. Okay, so let's try to understand this thing is very simple way. In very simple way. In very simple way. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm creating one more diagram here and creating here make my trip. This is make my trip. Okay, and let me uh, create the airline company. This is the airline company. This is the airline company and this is the airline company. Okay, let me establish the connection. I'm trying to establishing the connection between this airline company. Okay, so let me establish the connection. Oh, sorry. Let me establish the connection quickly. Let me establish the connection. Yeah, I established the connection. This is your Go Air, Go Air, Go India, Go India, SpiceJet, SpiceJet, Air India, right? These all are the flight company, right? So they will not allow to access his database, right? The make my trip or any flight company. So what this flight company will do, they will create one web service. They will create one web service and ask to this web service, if you want this, if you want to use my service, so try to connect with my web service. So what I will do here, I will create the web service. So I am creating the web service here. You can see it here. I am creating the mediator. So I have created the mediator. So whenever the make my trip want any data or create any data, they will communicate with the Go Air web service and they will call the web service and web service connect with his database, Go Air database, and they will fetch the data and they will return the data to the make my trip. Right. So similarly, for the Go India, they will connect with the web service of Go India. This is the web service and it will pass the data to the Go India and take the data from here and again come to the web service. Then again it passes to the Make My Trip application. So like that in the real time it's happening. Right. Now you might have question, that, so can you see it here guys, if you inspect this element, let me remove all the things and I have removed the things and I have removed the thing. Give me a second. I click on right click and inspect. go to the network section and clear all the things. When I hit this URL or I can perform any action, can you see the action here in the network section? So these all are the call which connecting with the server to get your response. You can see it here. It's connecting with the make my trip and getting the status as a 200. Here you can see the response. It will show you the response. If you preview, you can see how the response looks like. Okay, so that thing I will discuss later on. Let's move it here. Okay, so you might have one question in your mind. In your mind, you might have one question that let's suppose Go Air build in C# language and using the SQL database. The Go India is made in, let's suppose Go Air is built in C# using the SQL database, and Go India is built in Java application. Okay, and it uses the MongoDB database. Okay, and the SpiceJet is built in Angular, right? And they uses the let's suppose Oracle database, right? And make my trip is built in Java, PHP. Let's suppose PHP, and using the SQL database. Sorry, using the SQL database. So here, how one application it is built in totally different platform, and make my trip is built in totally different platform. How one language communicating with the other language. So this is the benefit of the web service. Doesn't matter in which language or using which database your application is built in. Using the web service, two applications can communicate with each other. Doesn't matter in which platform it is built in. Okay, clear. Now move to the theoretical part. So I told you the services available over the web. All the services are available over the web, over the internet. Okay, so that we can use. And this point is clear. The method of communication between the devices and the application over the internet. I have told you, enable the communication over the application. This is already communicated with you. Platform independent, which I have already told you that how it is platform independent. Using the web service, two different applications can talk each other and exchange the data. So why we are communicating? So let's suppose why. So let's suppose here why communication is happening to exchange the data. I am hungry, you are providing the food, I am paying the money to you, right? There is exchange of data in any form, but at least there is exchange of information or data, right? So that is the web service work, right? So you can see this is the diagram, the QA point of view. This is the diagram, right? The client sending the request to the server, and server based on the request they are providing the response to the client. Okay, now here you can see this is the web service, and let's suppose this is one application built in Java, and this is one PHP application. So Java can communicate with the PHP, .NET can communicate with the PHP, PHP can communicate with the Java, right? So what I'm trying to say, if the interview asks you is web service is platform dependent or independent, you can confidently say him it is independent communication platform. Okay, now guys, now come to here. When client, let's suppose the client is, who is client here? The make my trip. Make my trip sending the request to his server. When